My name is Victoria. I am 26 years old now. But my story starts a few years back when I was living a totally different life. I want to share with you how one night changed everything for me. But before we go on, please tell me where you're watching from. It would be nice to feel close even if we're far apart. Also, don't forget to like this video. It will help this reach many people who need to hear this story. And leave a comment. Share what you think about this story. Let's talk openly so we can learn from each other. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more content like this. I never cared about God or church, not even a little bit. My mom and dad broke up when I was small and neither had time for me. Dad was always at work and mom had her own troubles. No one ever took me to church or told me about Jesus or the Bible. By the time I was 19, I was already drinking too much. Alcohol became my friend, my way to feel better, my way to run away. It started with parties on weekends, then drinks during the week too. Soon I was drinking almost every day. My friends were just like me, lost, hurt people looking for fun. We thought we were having a good time, but we were just hiding from our pain. Every weekend was the same. Get ready, go to the club, drink until I couldn't feel anything, wake up sick, do it again. I worked at a small store during the day. But my real life was at night. The loud music, the dancing, the drinks. That's what I lived for. That's what made me feel good. Or so I thought. You only live once, my friends would say as they gave me another drink. I believed them. I thought this was all life could give me. Quick happiness in a bottle. Short talks with people I didn't know in dark clubs. No one ever told me there could be more to life. No one ever showed me a different way. It was a Saturday night just like any other. My friends and I went to our usual club in town. The music was loud, the lights were bright, and the drinks kept coming. I had already had several drinks and was feeling that normal buzz. Another round, I yelled over the music, waving at the person behind the bar. My friends cheered. This was what we did. This was our life. As the night went on, I kept drinking. 1 drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks more. The room started spinning, but I didn't care. I was used to this feeling. I liked it. Then something weird happened. My chest started to hurt. At first, I thought it was nothing. Maybe I had danced too much or the alcohol was hitting me different than usual. But then the pain got worse. It felt like someone was pressing on my heart. I don't feel good, I said to my friend Sarah, but she was busy talking to some guy and didn't hear me. I walked toward the bathroom thinking maybe I just needed to put some water on my face, but I never got there. The pain in my chest became too much. The last thing I remember is falling down. The colored lights of the club spinning above me and someone yelling. Then nothing. I don't know how to tell you what happened next. It wasn't like a dream. It was more real than anything I had ever felt before. First there was this bright warm light. It felt like being covered in the softest blanket on a cold day. I felt peace like I had never known before. Then I saw him. I had never been to church, never read the Bible, but somehow I knew right away who he was. Jesus was standing in front of me, his eyes full of love but also deep sadness. Victoria, he said, and his voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. This is not your time yet, but I want you to see where your path is taking you. All of a sudden, the warm light went away and I felt really hot. Not the nice warmth of a sunny day or a warm fire, but a burning heat that seemed to come from inside me. I looked down and saw a deep hole. The heat was coming from there and I heard sounds, terrible sounds of pain and sadness, screams and cries that made me shake despite the heat. Look, Victoria, Jesus said, his voice heavy with sadness. This is what many souls face. I saw people, so many people in that awful place. They were hurting, burning, but not dying. Their faces were twisted in pain. Why are they here? I asked, my voice barely heard. Each by their own choice, Jesus said. Some through being too proud, some through hate, some through wanting too much, and many like you were going through always choosing quick pleasures over real joy, through running away from the love I wanted to give them. He pointed to one part of the whole. And I saw people who looked just like me, young, confused souls who had spent their lives chasing the wrong things, making their pain go away with drinks rather than healing it with love. If not for my mercy and grace, if tonight had really been your time to die, this would have been where you ended up, Jesus said, and I could hear the pain in his voice. Not because I want anyone to go there, but because this is where a path away from love, away from me, naturally leads. When people keep choosing temporary things over eternal things, when they keep running from me instead of running to me, this is where they end up. I felt terror and fear like I had never experienced in my whole life. It wasn't just fear for myself, though that was part of it. I felt heartbroken for all those souls I had seen suffering. I wanted to help them somehow, but I knew there was nothing I could do. But why are you showing me this? I asked through my tears. Why let me see this terrible place if tonight isn't really my time to die? Jesus looked at me with eyes so full of love that it almost hurt to look at him directly. Because I love you more than you can understand, Victoria. I have always loved you, even during all those nights when you were drinking and partying and didn't know I existed. And I want you to go back to your life and share what you've seen here tonight. There are so many others just like you who need to hear this message, who need to know there's another way to live, a better way that leads to real happiness instead of this terrible ending. I took a deep breath, my eyes opening wide. I was on the floor of the club, doctors leaning over me, my friends were standing nearby, their faces white with fear. She's back, one doctor said to the other. Heart rate getting better. I learned later that I had drunk too much and had a panic attack. My heart had stopped for a short time before they brought me back. But I knew it was more than that. What I had seen, what I had felt. It wasn't just my mind playing tricks on me or a dream. It was real. Jesus was real. Heaven was real and so was hell. They took me to the hospital where I spent the night. The doctors told me I was lucky to be alive. They had no idea how true that was. As I lay in that hospital bed, I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen. The faces of those souls in that terrible place stayed with me, and Jesus' words kept playing in my mind. Share what you've seen. When I left the hospital the next day, I knew I couldn't go back to my old life. Something big had changed inside me. The want for alcohol, for partying, for that whole way of living, it was just gone, replaced by something else. I want to know more about Jesus, about God, about this love I had felt so briefly but so strongly. My friends thought I had lost my mind. When I told them what happened, they laughed it off. It was just the alcohol messing with your brain, Sarah said. Give it a week, you'll be back to normal. But I wasn't. I couldn't be. How could I go back to living for Saturday nights when I had seen forever? I started reading the Bible. I found a small church near my apartment and started going to services. The pastor there, a nice older man named Michael, took time to answer my questions and help me learn about faith. It wasn't easy. There were nights I lay awake wanting a drink so badly my whole body shook. There were days I wanted to call my old friends to fall back into old habits. But then I would remember what I had seen and I found the strength to say no. Slowly things began to change. I started to feel peace I had never known before. The empty feeling inside me that I had tried to fill with alcohol and parties began to fill with something else. With love, with purpose, with faith. I quit my job at the store and found work at a local help center. I started helping at a shelter for women getting better from addiction. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was doing something that mattered. 8 months after what happened to me, I was sitting in church when I felt it. A clear, strong call. I needed to share my story with more people. Not just with the women at the shelter, not just with the people at my church, but with as many people as possible. I'm not a preacher, I told Pastor Michael when I shared this feeling with him. I barely know the Bible yet. Who would listen to me? He smiled gently. Victoria, sometimes the most powerful talks come from the most unlikely people. Your story is your message. Your life is your proof. With his help, I started speaking at youth groups, at recovery meetings, at small gatherings in people's homes. I told them about my old life, the emptiness, the searching. I told them about that night at the club, about what I saw and heard. And I told them about my new life. The struggles, yes, but also the joy, the peace, the purpose. Some people didn't believe me, of course. They thought I was crazy or making it all up. But others, oh, the others. I would see it in their eyes, that moment when they understood, that spark of hope. People who had been where I was, who were feeling what I had felt. They heard my story and something inside them woke up. A young woman named Lisa came up to me after one of my talks. She had been drinking heavily since she was 16. Had tried to quit many times but always went back. I want what you have, she said, tears running down her face. I want to be free. I hugged her tight. You can be, I said. He loves you just as much as he loves me. Lisa has been sober for 4 months now. She comes to church with me every Sunday. It's been 3 years since that night at the club. 3 years since I died and came back. 3 years since Jesus showed me what could have been and gave me a second chance. I'm not perfect. I still struggle sometimes. There are days when the old wants come back, when I think about how easy it would be to just go back to my old ways. But then I remember what I saw, what I felt, and I find the strength to keep going. I speak often now at churches, schools, recovery programs, anywhere they'll have me. I tell my story over and over, hoping that each time it reaches someone who needs to hear it. Some people call me a preacher. I don't know about that. I'm just a girl who was lost and then found, who was given a look at what waits beyond this life and who can't stay quiet about it. If you're listening to this and you're where I was, lost, empty, trying to fill the hole with things that never really work, I want you to know something. You are loved more deeply, more completely, more perfectly than you can possibly think. You don't have to have a near-death experience like I did to change your life. You don't have to see hell to choose heaven. You just have to be willing to take that first step to reach out your hand and say, I need help. I need something more. Jesus told me to share what I had seen to save as many as I could. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'll keep doing for as long as I have breath in my body. Because the truth is, we're all given a short time here. We all have to make choices about how we live and what we live for. And those choices matter not just for now but for always. I chose wrong for a long time. I was going down a path that would have led to pain I can't even describe. But I was given another chance and I chose differently. You can too. That's the message Jesus wanted me to share. That's the story he gave me to tell. And if it reaches even one person, if it saves even one soul from what I almost went through, then every moment of my old life was worth it because it led me here to this moment, to this message. To you. The choice is yours now. What will you do with it? Thank you for listening to my story. My prayer for you is that you will find the love and peace that changed my life. Please like this video if it touched your heart and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more powerful testimonies and stories of hope. Your support helps us reach more people who need to hear these messages of transformation and grace.